Welcome to Time of Death. This video is for informational purposes and in no way meant to glorify or condone violence. In today's video, we'll be discussing the murder of Michael Charles Ramirez. Ramirez was shot and killed on Sunday, December 7, 2014, in the 9300 block of Miller Grove Drive in Santa Fe Springs, according to LA County coroner records. Charles Lee Woody was subsequently arrested and charged with the murder. The following is the evidence at trial. Victim Michael Charlie Ramirez was shot and killed on the street next to Los Nietos Park in Santa Fe Springs shortly after 9 p.m. on Sunday, December 7, 2014. At the time of the shooting, the victim was homeless and rode around on a bicycle. He was in his 50s. Whittier Police Detective Sal Murillo testified as a gang expert for the people. He described his knowledge of gang culture generally and information he had learned about two specific gangs, Las Tres Palmas and Cantarranas. Detective Murillo identified defendant as a member of Las Tres Palmas, or LTP, based on defendant's tattoos. According to Detective Murillo, LTP had approximately 20 members. It claimed territory in Santa Fe Springs, bordered by Los Nietos Road on the north, Telegraph Road on the south, Norwalk Boulevard on the east, and the St. Gabriel River on the west. The victim was a member of Cantarranas, a rival of LTP. Cantarranas is Spanish for singing frogs. Detective Murillo testified that Cantarranas was a larger gang, having 100 to 120 members. The heart of Cantarranas' territory was Los Nietos Park. The gang also claimed as its territory the immediate area around the park, including Miller Grove Drive. Cantarranas' territory bordered LTP's territory near Los Nietos Park. On the night of the shooting, at about 5:30 p.m., a witness who lived near the park saw defendant drive past his property in a light-colored SUV. The witness was familiar with defendant and had seen him in the neighborhood before. In June of 2014, defendant purchased a silver Mercury Mountaineer. Robert Ochoa, a Cantarranas gang member, lived on Miller Grove Drive near the park. The victim was Ochoa's best friend. On the day the victim was killed, Ochoa was in the driveway of his home and defendant passed by in a car. Ochoa testified, "I think it was a Honda, I don't know." Ochoa could not recall defendant saying anything to him, but agreed that he testified truthfully at the preliminary hearing that defendant asked him, "Where's all your homeboys?" And Ochoa replied, "I don't know." Ochoa heard gunshots about 15 minutes after defendant passed by his house. Ochoa believed the gunshots came from the park. After he heard gunshots, Ochoa sent the victim text messages and called him, but the victim did not respond. At about 9:11 p.m., a witness who lived near the park heard gunshots. The witness looked out of his living room window and saw an SUV quickly drive past his house. He told the police the SUV was a Ford Explorer, but the officer showed him a photograph of a Mercury Mountaineer, and the witness believed that the pictured vehicle looked like the type of SUV he had seen drive past his house. At about 9:17 p.m., Whittier police officer Edward Nyberg responded to an address on Miller Grove Drive that was on the west side of the street across from the park. Fire department personnel were rendering aid to the victim, who was on his back on the sidewalk. There was a bicycle at the scene. The medical examiner later determined that the victim suffered 5 gunshot wounds, 3 to his back, 1 to his armpit area, and 1 to his elbow. The medical examiner opined that the gunshot wounds caused the victim's death. Forensic specialists from the Whittier Police Department found 12 expended 9mm casings at the scene. A criminalist at the LA County Sheriff's Department determined that the casings were all fired from the same firearm, a 9mm Luger. A DNA specialist at a regional crime laboratory found sufficient DNA on 3 of the casings to do a DNA comparison. The DNA on 2 of those casings came from a single source. The DNA found on those casings was consistent with defendant's DNA profile, with a random match probability of 1 in 12 million. On December 12, 2014, someone reported an abandoned Mercury Mountaineer in Whittier. An LA County Sheriff deputy responded and found an insurance card with defendant's name on it inside the vehicle. He recognized defendant's name as being someone of interest to the Whittier Police Department, so he contacted the department. A Whittier police officer responded to the location and had the vehicle impounded. Detective Wolf and forensic specialist Gardner later took the insurance card as evidence. Gardner testified that the Mercury Mountaineer was silver or gray in color. Gardner processed the vehicle for evidence. He collected DNA on a shirt and shoe recovered from the vehicle that was consistent with defendant's DNA profile, with a random match probability of 1 in 5.3 sextillion. He collected DNA on the inside door handles that was consistent with defendant's DNA profile, with a random match probability of 1 in 1.7 quintillion and 1 in 190 quadrillion, respectively. Following the trial, the jury convicted defendant of first-degree murder and being a felon in possession of a firearm, including gun and gang allegations. The court sentenced defendant to a total prison term of 50 years to life. Michael Charles Ramirez was 52 years old at the time of death.